They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to.
Alright, today's presentations will be continued next week. Those groups are presenting next week, so please prepare well. Good afternoon. Professor Lin concluded today's lecture session. The classroom atmosphere became a bit noisy. The sound of chairs scraping against the floor began to fill the room as students quickly prepared to leave. But before they could, Rose, one of the campus's popular students, stood up at the front of the class holding several beautifully decorated papers. Wait a moment, everyone. Don't go just yet. Since today is my birthday, I'm inviting you all to come to my party. Don't forget, it's at 7 p.m. at Le Chamber Club in Seoul. With a broad smile, Rose handed out the invitations to her classmates. Rose, can I bring a friend from another faculty? Asked Minju, one of the students who was active in student organizations and had friends everywhere due to his extensive connections. Yes, that's fine. Minju gave a thumbs up upon hearing Rose's answer. Yin, you have to come shopping with me at the mall later. I need to buy a dress to wear to Rose's party. Yuna spoke while playing with her car keys as they walked out of the classroom. Why? Don't you already have a lot of dresses? Yin frowned, knowing well that her friend had an entire closet dedicated just to party dresses. But I've worn all of those already. I want to buy something new. Who knows, there might be some new styles out. Yuna grinned guiltlessly. Such a spendthrift. Yin rolled her eyes dismissively. Hey, don't be like that. You're just too frugal. If you wanted, you could buy the whole mall. You need to learn to take advantage of your assets, Yin. Yuna lectured her rich friend, annoyed. Her friend's wealth was vast enough to last several lifetimes, yet she still hesitated when it came to spending. Everyone knew Park Yin. She was a student famous not only for her beauty and sweet nature but also for her family being one of the wealthiest conglomerates in Korea. Her friendly demeanor was merely a formality, which kept many at bay despite their interest in her. Moreover, her impressive family background intimidated many. To date, she had only had one boyfriend, Hyunbin, a senior who was 2 years above her at university. Their relationship lasted only 5 months before Yin ended it upon discovering he was only after her wealth. Since then, Yin had been extremely cautious about whom she let close. Now in her 4th year in the business and management faculty, she planned not to date until after graduation. Don't compare me to you, Yuna. Instead of buying clothes, I'd rather buy books. Yin loved reading, whether it was fiction or non-fiction. Any book she found interesting, she bought. She even maintained a well-kept personal library. You still need to buy a dress for the party, and I will pick it out. You need to look different, Yin, not always the same. We have to create some memories before we graduate. Yuna continued excitedly, while Yin just snorted. It was useless to argue. Her friend would just whine, which was embarrassing. Jungkook. Minju called out to Jungkook while running. He paused to catch his breath before speaking. Running from the business and management faculty to the engineering faculty was indeed exhausting. What? Jungkook responded with his usual flat expression. Jungkook and Minju had been friends since their 2nd year at university. They met through a campus organization and have been close ever since. Minju's chattiness seemed to complement Jungkook's reserved and cool demeanor. Jungkook spoke only when necessary. His gaze was piercing, as if it could bore through anyone who dared to meet his eyes directly. He was a handsome student, popular among many girls at the university, especially those gold diggers looking for a wealthy man. Fortunately, Jungkook did not reciprocate any woman's advances. He found relationships bothersome and preferred his solitude, claiming that no woman had yet touched his heart both physically and emotionally. Tonight, you have to come out with me. Minju's eyes sparkled, while Jungkook just raised an eyebrow, waiting for him to continue. Tonight Rose is throwing a birthday party at Le Chamber Club. You know Rose, right? Jungkook simply nodded, aware of the popular girl even though he was aloof. And I've got permission from Rose to bring friends from other faculties, Minju added. Why must it be me? Jungkook frowned in annoyance. He wasn't familiar with Minju's other friends, and it would be awkward for him to attend. Because I want you to come, Minju grinned. Come on, it's been a while since we hung out. Maybe you'll meet some girls from my class. I'm tired of seeing you alone all the time. Minju tried to persuade his friend. Jungkook thought for a moment. It had been a long time since he had had any fun. Yes, he occasionally visited clubs, not to play around with women, but just to drink and enjoy himself. Alright, Jungkook finally agreed. The party starts at 7. Don't forget. Minju patted Jungkook's shoulder lightly before leaving him to return to his solitude. It was still afternoon, and Yin was pacing in her room, glancing again at the party dress laid out on her bed. She ran her fingers through her hair in frustration, sighing heavily multiple times. It was not a good decision to let Yuna handle the party dress. Yuna hadn't allowed her to choose her own dress, She just sat and waited while Yuna picked one out. Yuna claimed it was meant to be a surprise and even paid for the dress as a gift. Yin, feeling too lazy at the time, just went along with it. But when she got home and opened the dress, she was shocked by Yuna's choice. "How can I wear something like this?" Yin exclaimed, her voice strained. The dress Yuna chose was a black knee-length spaghetti strap dress with a low-cut neckline. It was backless except for thin straps that did nothing to cover Yin's smooth back. Yuna must be crazy, but if Yin didn't wear it, Yuna threatened to be angry and not to be friends with her anymore. Although Yin knew it was just a bluff, she still didn't want Yuna to actually be upset and sulk, which would be a hassle. "Watch out, Yuna." Still grumbling, Yin grabbed the dress and quickly put it on. Yuna was due to arrive soon, and Yin didn't want to hear her friend's nagging voice if she wasn't ready. That would only give her an even bigger headache. "See, you look much sexier and attractive in that dress. My choice is never wrong." Yuna giggled as her friend glared at her. "It's not intimidating but rather amusing. Enough talking, let's go now." The club was bustling with activity. Nearly all the tables had been reserved for Rose's birthday celebration. The music pounded loudly, encouraging Yin's friends to dance to the beat. Yin herself just sat and drank alone. Since entering the club, a pair of eyes hadn't stopped watching her. Jungkook certainly knew who Yin was, the beautiful and rich student often talked about by his friends. Jungkook, usually reserved and cold, didn't really care about Yin, though he acknowledged she was very beautiful. But hey, seeing Yin in that dress certainly drew many hungry stares from men, including Jungkook at that moment. While there were many other girls dressed provocatively like Yin, somehow Yin had a unique charm. This wasn't Jungkook's first time in a club, nor was it his first time seeing women in revealing outfits, and he had never been tempted before. But why was it so different looking at Yin now? Why did it stir something within him? Jungkook was confused, as if his wild side, long chained, had now surfaced. And for the first time, he felt the desire to touch a woman in the sense of his instincts as a man. Increasingly drunk, Jungkook walked over to Yin. He chuckled to himself, unbelieving of what he was about to do. Yes, he wanted to get close to her. He wanted to touch her Yin. "Hey, alone?" Jungkook smiled, not really for the girl in front of him, but for himself, feeling foolish for starting such a trivial conversation. I prefer to be alone. It's not nice over there. I don't like it." Yin responded indifferently, babbling incoherently, making Jungkook chuckle. Don't ask where Yuna was. Of course she was dancing on the dance floor. "So, where do you like it, sweetie?" Jungkook began to gently hold Yin's hand. They were both clearly drunk by now. On a bed. I'm tired. I want to sleep soon. By the way, you're very handsome." Yin stroked Jungkook's strong jawline, sending shivers through his skin. Jungkook just remained silent, focusing on enjoying the gentle touch of Yin's hands on his face. He really liked this sensation. Yin frowned. "You remind me of someone, but I must be wrong, because there's no way he'd be here." Yin spoke while continuing to touch his jaw. "Reminds you of who?" Jungkook was curious, but let Yin keep touching him. "He's a student at our campus. His name is Jeon Jungkook, but it can't be him here. He's not one of our friends," Yin explained, and then her hands stopped touching the face of the man in front of her. Jungkook chuckled softly. "I am Jungkook. I came here with Minju." Really? Oh, no wonder you're handsome." Yin now looked back at him. Yin's face now flushed from being drunk, and her weak gaze somehow made Jungkook's heart beat faster. Usually, he could easily ignore the allure of beautiful women. But why was it so difficult this time? His male instincts were truly awakened now. Finally, Jungkook moved closer. Boldly, Jungkook pecked Yin's lips. Yin, startled, just blinked rapidly. "Why only a short one? I want a long kiss." Yin whined a bit, making Jungkook feel affectionate and kiss her again. This time, it was longer. They truly enjoyed it, ignoring the surroundings and the people around them. Yin's arms are boldly wrapped around Jungkook's neck. They were both completely lost in the moment, heavily intoxicated. After a few minutes, Jungkook released their lips. His body was heating up. He felt he wanted Yin more than just this. Jungkook grabbed Yin's hand, gently pulling her, and led her to one of the private rooms. Strangely, Yin, who was also drunk, just followed Jungkook with her body swaying. Eventually, Jungkook walked while hugging her close. Yin woke up with a headache. She held her head and blinked slowly. She winced, feeling pain in her lower body. Yin was about to fall back asleep before her eyes shot open wide. She saw her bare body covered only by a blanket, then turned to the side to find Jungkook still sleeping soundly. Tears could not be held back, and she began to sob. "What have I done?" Yin cried louder, waking a confused Jungkook. Jungkook looked at her, who continued to sob. "Damn it, he cursed himself repeatedly. He remembered approaching Yin, who was already drunk, and then kissing her, but he couldn't remember exactly what they had done. Seeing Jungkook awake, Yin immediately stopped crying. Why did you do this to me? Yin's sharp gaze was directed at him. Don't blame me, I'm sure we were both drunk. Jungkook didn't want to be blamed solely because he himself was confused and couldn't remember the details of last night clearly. But how could this happen? Why did we end up in this room, Jungkook? Yin cried and choked up. Then, flashes of last night's events crossed her mind, when she happily welcomed Jungkook's kisses and caresses. Yin sobbed again, realizing her folly. What if I'm pregnant? Yin was genuinely frightened, her voice trembling. I will take responsibility, Jungkook stated firmly. Yin roughly wiped her tears away, gathered her clothes, and dressed hastily. I'll hold you to that. Yin glared at Jungkook and quickly left the cramped room. After Yin left, Jungkook groaned in frustration. He quickly dressed and left. 2 weeks after that incident, neither Jungkook nor Yin had seen each other, even though they rarely met before. Usually Jungkook or Yin would occasionally see each other when they ate in the university cafeteria. No one knew about that night. Both Jungkook and Yin remained silent. You look pale, Yin. Are you sick? Yoona asked worriedly. They were currently sitting in the campus park, working on a final project that would later be examined. No, I just feel weak, no appetite, Yin answered warily. Since the morning, her stomach had felt off. She hadn't eaten anything due to feeling nauseous. You need to keep your spirits up, Yin. We're graduating soon. Yoona tried to cheer her up, not bearing to see her friend look like a living corpse, pale. Yeah, Yin responded half-heartedly, and continued, sitting back, listless. Or could it be that you're on your period? You usually feel very weak then. Isn't it around that time? Yin frowned, thinking for a moment. True, she should have had her period by now, but there had been no signs. Suddenly, Yin felt frightened by the bad possibility. She shook her head slightly. Yoona, I'm going home now. I think I really need to rest. Yin quickly got up and left the park. Take care, Yin. Yin held the small object in her trembling hands. Her eyes were tightly closed, not ready to face the potential bad news. After feeling enough time had passed, she slowly opened her eyes. She burst into tears, seeing 2 very clear red lines there. Her body slumped, leaning against the bathroom door. She cried miserably. What do I do? What if my parents find out? Yin kept rambling. She was terrified. Her parents would surely be very disappointed. I need to see Jungkook. Yin stood up, determined to resolve this issue before it was too late. She couldn't delay any longer if she didn't want her belly to start showing. Although angry and disappointed, Yin had no intention of terminating the pregnancy. She was determined to care for and protect this child. The next day, Jungkook. Yin walked quickly towards Jungkook. This morning, Yin boldly went to meet Jungkook at his faculty. Luckily, she found Jungkook in the faculty lobby. Yin grabbed Jungkook's hand and led him away. Jungkook let her pull his hand silently. Remembering the past incident, he still felt guilty. What's going on? Jungkook asked after Yin stopped. They were behind the faculty, a quiet area, as not many students passed here, especially this early in the morning. I'm pregnant, Yin said with a trembling voice. She took out the pregnancy test she had used the night before. Jungkook had braced himself for the possibility that Yin might be pregnant due to his actions, but hearing it directly from Yin still shocked him. His lips parted slightly. He was stunned, then quickly composed himself. Okay, next week I'll come to propose to you, Jungkook said casually, though Yin had been holding back tears all this time. Do you believe me? I'm not lying. Here's the test. You can see for yourself. Yin handed him the 3 items. Jungkook took them and looked at each one, maintaining his calm expression. Jungkook, do you believe this baby is yours? Yin asked again to confirm. She didn't want Jungkook to doubt later that the child in her womb was his. Yes, I believe, Jungkook answered shortly, handing back the 3 pregnancy tests to Yin. This time his voice was softer. Just like that? Yin was surprised by Jungkook's casual response. She expected him to make it difficult, considering they weren't a couple before. What else? Shouldn't I be responsible? Jungkook looked at Yin, who seemed confused herself. What about my parents? They will be so disappointed. Yin looked down sadly, unable to imagine her parents' feelings. If you're afraid, let me explain it to them. Jungkook spoke minimally as usual. Yin frowned in irritation, her pregnancy hormones perhaps making her more emotionally reactive to anyone. I'll hold you to your promise. Then Yin left, leaving Jungkook standing alone, staring at her retreating back with an indescribable look. Yin's parents were indeed angry after learning the truth. They were very disappointed. How could their only daughter, whom they had carefully guarded, do something so out of line? Let's say Yin's parents were traditional, but they did not let Yin socialize without limits. They wanted the best for Yin, but the deed was done. Here they all were, at a private wedding only attended by the family. They planned a closed wedding, considering Yin and Jungkook hadn't graduated from college. It would be too stressful for them, especially for Yin, and that was not good for her fetus. After they graduated, a large wedding reception would be organized. Understandably, both came from prominent families. It's no wonder they wanted everyone to know that their children were finally married. Congratulations, sweetheart. You are now Jungkook's wife. Be a good wife and take good care of your future child. Helena gently stroked her daughter's head. Take good care of Yin, Jungkook, Helena added to Jungkook. Of course, Mom. Jungkook's response made Yin turn slightly towards him. She felt a warm thrill. Jungkook's parents had already expressed their congratulations for their marriage. After this wedding, we will live in my apartment, Jungkook mentioned during their wedding. Yin just nodded. She still couldn't believe she was now Jungkook's wife. Yin hadn't invited anyone, including Yoona and her other friends. She wasn't ready for others to know yet. Jungkook's apartment was in the city center, close to their campus. The apartment wasn't very large, but it felt luxurious. Jungkook had been living alone here. Jungkook had been curious whether Yin would choose to sleep with him or alone. He wanted Yin to do as she pleased so she would feel comfortable. However, Jungkook quietly smiled when Yin stepped into the master bedroom where he had been sleeping alone. Now it would also be Yin's. He quickly moved Yin's suitcase into the bedroom, symbolically welcoming her into his space. After Jungkook followed her in, Yin's attention turned to her husband. Jungkook, can you help me arrange my clothes? I feel really weak. Jungkook approached Yin, who was sitting on the edge of the bed. Are you okay? You look pale. There was a worried tone in his voice. Yin just shook her head slightly. I'm fine, just exhausted. Alright, I'll arrange your clothes. You should take a nap. Yin didn't respond further. She just nodded briefly before lying down on the bed. As soon as her head hit the pillow, she inhaled Jungkook's masculine scent, which unexpectedly made her feel comforted. Eventually, she lay on her side to better enjoy the scent emanating from the pillow. Several minutes passed, and Yin still couldn't fall asleep. There was a strange fluttering in her chest. She glanced at Jungkook, who was busy organizing her clothes in the closet, his back to her. Summoning courage from somewhere, Yin slowly got up from the bed and walked over to Jungkook. Once behind him, she tentatively wrapped her arms around him, drawing in his scent more deeply. Jungkook was initially surprised by Yin's embrace but allowed it to continue. Slowly, he turned around so they were facing each other. He looked into Yin's flushed face. Can't sleep? He asked. Yin nodded. Perhaps her pregnancy instincts were making her crave attention from her husband. Jungkook offered a small smile and then led Yin back to the bed. Now they both lay side by side, with Jungkook wrapping an arm around her, pulling her close. Yin freely breathed in Jungkook's scent, nestling closer to his neck. Yin, please don't tempt me. I don't want to risk anything that could harm our baby. Jungkook's voice was low and cautious. Yin didn't reply directly. Her body language spoke volumes as she buried her face deeper into Jungkook's chest, feeling shy yet comforted. Every day, they went about their activities as usual. Jungkook became warmer when with Yin, although he was still sparing with his words. Until one unexpected day. Jungkook. Yin's scream startled Jungkook while he was making coffee. He immediately ran to the bedroom and was shocked to find Yin sitting on the bathroom floor, blood seeping from her leg. What's wrong, Yin? What happened? Jungkook couldn't hide his panic, especially as Yin just cried and clutched her stomach, groaning in pain. Quickly, he took her to the hospital. Yin was now in the emergency room, and Jungkook waited outside anxiously. Family of the patient? Dr. Anna came out of the emergency room. I'm her husband. Jungkook stood up immediately. How is my wife, doctor? Dr. Anna sighed before answering. Your wife is stable. There's nothing to worry about. She paused, and Jungkook sighed with relief. However, we couldn't save the fetus, she continued. Struck by lightning, Jungkook was shocked and deeply affected by the news. Despite the situation being a result of their actions, he eagerly awaited the arrival of their child. My wife had a miscarriage? Jungkook's voice choked up. I'm sorry, it seems the fall in the bathroom was severe enough that the 1-month-old fetus couldn't survive. Please support your wife well. I worry she might do something drastic if she learns of this. I'll take my leave now. Jungkook nodded slightly, his fists clenched as he suddenly felt inadequate in protecting his wife. Their parents arrived and hugged Jungkook in turns after learning the fact. Yin's and Jungkook's mothers held back tears, but they needed to be strong if they wanted Yin to be strong. An hour later, Yin was moved to a private room, of course, a VVIP one. I'm miscarried. didn't I? Yin stared blankly at the hospital room ceiling. A profound sense of loss overwhelmed her. She wanted to cry, but the tears wouldn't come. Jungkook, sitting beside her, gently took her hand. Hey, it's okay. Everything is God's will. If only I had been more careful. If only I could have taken better care of our child. Am I not a terrible mother? Shh, don't talk like that. I believe you did everything you could to protect our child. Jungkook still tried to soothe her. Silence enveloped them. Yin continued to stare blankly, while Jungkook looked at her sadly. Jungkook, we can get a divorce now. The child is no longer in my womb, so your responsibility is over. Yin turned to face Jungkook. He was shocked by her suggestion. Why would you think like that? Jungkook frowned, displeased with what Yin had said. Aren't you married to me just because I was pregnant with your child? And now that it's gone, you should be free to leave me. Yin's eyes were wounded, her voice almost a whisper. Don't talk nonsense, Yin. I'm not divorcing you. Why? You've just been fulfilling your duty because I was pregnant. I'm sure you never really wanted me. Before Yin could continue, Jungkook interrupted. Hey, don't assume things. I apologize. Initially at the club it was out of lust. But do you know, from before we got married, after that night, I started thinking about you. Not whether you were pregnant or not, but because I want to be close to you. Maybe my desire for you is strong, but I want to have you and protect you, Yin. That's why I agreed to marry you. Not just because of the child, but because I also want to be with you. Yin blushed. So you admit you have a strong desire? Jungkook chuckled softly. Yes, my desire is strong, but only for you, not for other women. But I want to stay with you not just because of that. I want to be with you because I want to have you and protect you. I love you, Yin. What I have now is not just lust. So, you won't divorce me? Yin asked again. To be sure. Jungkook nodded immediately. No, baby, I won't divorce you. After saying this, Jungkook kissed Yin's forehead for a long time, then moved to her cheeks, and finally gave her a brief kiss on the lips. So, don't ask for a divorce again, okay? Yin nodded weakly, Jungkook's gentle voice incredibly comforting. Where did he learn to be this sweet when he was known for his cold demeanor? If we failed to take care of our child this time, we could always try again. Jungkook now smiled mischievously. Yin couldn't help but smile shyly. Can we delay that? Do you want me to get pregnant again right away? Jungkook laughed softly. Of course. I won't force you, baby. If you want to delay having a child, that's okay. It means I can enjoy your body every night. Jungkook. Yin pinched his arm gently, almost without strength. Jungkook chuckled again. Do you know? It's torture sleeping with you every night without being able to touch you. Yin smiled faintly. I had no idea the cool guy had this side. This side of me is only in front of you. No one else knows this side of me. Once more, Jungkook kissed Yin's forehead, this time longer. Yin closed her eyes and enjoyed the moment.